What's up, all you freaking flyers and any of the newcomers? I'm Dr. Darin, emergency room physician in rural America. This is the Freaky Fast Fails Trauma Triage, where we look at fails throughout the internet. We'll quickly discuss what I would be looking for and what I would be thinking of as far as injuries goes if these people presented to my ER. This lady has a dislocated left shoulder, and this guy might have a right AC joint separation like me. If you find it worth your time to subscribe, I sure would appreciate it. Let's do this thing. All right, what we got going on here? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. No, don't do it. Ah, you did it. He stuck his tongue to a pole. You have to have done it. I don't know if it's a male thing. No, because my daughter did it the other day. Here's actually a clip. What did you rip it off of? You put your tongue on the trampoline? She took her tongue to the pole of our trampoline. See what happens. Looks like she's got some warm water. I want to give my hats off to this young man. I can't believe he had the patience to wait. I sure didn't. Probably the multiple times I've done it. My daughter didn't. Mostly the reaction is, and we pull off, okay? And we're ripping off the papilla, the taste buds. The cool thing about the mouth is it heals incredibly fast. I can't tell you how awesome it is. Anyways, he'll be maybe without some taste. He'll have maybe some bleeding. I'm not gonna be worried about this kid. And I love it. Ooh. So we've all done this.
It's true though.
We all want to go into ninja mode, or after we watch a movie that has Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan in it. We're going to look at it in slow motion. So let's rewind. Look at it in slow motion and see if I can get any more information from it, because at first it's probably just going to have bruising, but there might be more to it. So there he is hitting. Ooh, if you stop right there, you can actually see there was actually pieces of the shelving that actually broke off. So if this gentleman came in, I'd be worried about laceration, okay, and specifically foreign objects. And one of the ways that we in the emergency room find foreign object is just through direct visualization. And that requires us digging around. So what we'll do is we'll do local anesthetics. We'll inject with a numbing medication around that injury, so then we can start digging around. You can do imaging, x-rays, live fluoroscopy, CTs to find evidence of foreign objects. Run, run, run. Oh! I have seen this so many times in real life and on fail videos. It happens all the time. And you gotta zig, you gotta bob and weave.
You gotta really bob and weave and dodge them bullets.
Let's go back and check that out in slow motion, instant replay time. She landed in a very specific way that makes me think of something called Erb's palsy. Let's check it out in slow motion. So she's flipping up, right there, pause. So you see this right here, and she is upside down, and she's landing on this space that's between her left shoulder and her neck, okay? So in this area, if you look at this diagram of the anatomy, right, there's a structure called the brachial plexus. It comes out of the cervical vertebral bodies, and then it forms this basically network that then goes into the arm. The more common way someone would have injury to that brachial plexus, it usually happens in birth. When a child is coming out of the birth canal, sometimes when the obstetrician is manipulating the child's head to come out of the birth canal, it sometimes can cause this stretching. Now, for it to happen in the adult, we basically are mimicking that injury, that stretching of that brachial plexus, and it happens usually in falls or high-speed injuries like this. And you can tell that as she's falling, if you look at this picture, that as she's falling, she has this mechanism of injury, and she's creating that gapping. Now, this person, they're going to present with tingling in her hand, potentially in her forearm. She might have some motor function deficits where she's not grabbing things as well. Not to mention the pain that she can have. So if she presented with any of those and I knew this injury, I would be concerned about Erb's palsy. Her bag's unzipped. So, that's not an injury, but sometimes isn't that life? We're out, we're ready to just work hard, be productive, and get stuff done. And our bag's not zipped up. And we think we're doing everything right, and all we're doing is just relocating the debris in our life. Man, parallels are pretty good. What is this guy doing? No! Oh! First off, what are they doing? What? Oh, are they trying to like maybe jump the car with the battery? Maybe siphon the gasoline from one vehicle to the other? I've seen people actually haul four-wheelers on the top of cars.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but I don't know, the hood's up, I don't know what's going on. Anyways, this guy goes down. Now let's look at this in this video a little slower, see if we can gather any more information. So it's going slow. Look, you can see his right foot right there. Ooh. So you can also see that. So after the injury, you can see him pushing off the ground, but he's not able to move. With that foot that was under there, it makes me believe that his ankle and foot is actually trapped underneath there. Okay, so it can be twisted in any different way. So we're worried about any foot bone injury. We're worried about our metatarsals, okay, our midfoot. We're worried about our hindfoot bones, our tibia and our fibular bones, not to mention any soft tissue. Depending on how this guy presents and my physical exam, I'd be worried about all those things. Yeah, definitely not the best way to do whatever they were trying to do. Ooh. Oh, I've been there. Almost this exact injury, snowboarding. I was in Utah at Solitude. And I was snowboarding, hit this big boulder. It threw me. I came out, landed right on my shoulder. Let's rewind. Now, if we watch this guy in slow motion, let's watch it in slow motion and see if we can find a little more information. So you can see his arms out and he lands right there. So in that injury, I'm worried about an AC separation, not to mention a shoulder dislocation, okay? But because I personally had this injury, an AC separation. Now AC stands for acromial clavicular joint. So that is the acromial end of the clavicle. So right here. So you have the this is the clavicle right here. Check out this anatomy model. The clavicle goes from here, mid-sternum, out to your shoulder joint. And this is the acromial end because it communicates with the acromion of the scapula. If you look at this model, this anatomy model, here's the acromion of the scapula, and that communicates with the acromial end of the clavicle. And that makes that AC joint. Now, if someone comes to me, they typically will come with a severe shoulder pain, and their shoulder's not depressed. I don't see any gross deformities, okay, unless it's a grade 2 or higher. Sometimes you can find this elevation. If you can see right here, there's this elevation right here. One of the tests that we can try in the ER, although it can elicit pain, is called the piano key test. And in that piano key test, literally you just push down. And if you can see, when I push down, the clavicular should not have that much laxity. It pushes down and pops back up. That means that there's a separation. Those ligaments that hold that joint together have been stretched, and it's extremely painful. okay? Easy 6 weeks. So once we classify those, if we look at this picture right here, you can see there's a 1, a 2, a 3. Usually 2 and below are usually non-surgical, into a shoulder sling, slowly progressing through exercising, stretches, and pain management. That's what I did, and it's painful. I remember I couldn't do a push-up for a good 3 months. So this kid's gonna be hurting for sure. Ooh, down. Expletives. You can tell she's in pain. It looks like she landed on her left side. So I'm going to be focusing my physical exam on her left side. We'll be worried about elbow fractures, wrist injuries, sprains, strains, fractures. But how she gets up is really interesting. So let's watch how she gets up again. So it looks like she is supporting all her weight. You can see she's kind of like this, and she's pushing with the right hand up, okay? That's pretty significant. If I can see that in a patient when they come in, it tells me a lot. And look, right there, if we stop right there, you can tell she's pushed off with the right arm, and her arm's kind of in this state, and she's not moving it. She's going like this, wiping snow off, and she's not really moving it. It's just kind of sitting there. That is almost a telltale sign a patient that has a dislocation. Maybe an AC separation on top of it, but that dislocation, she came down with such a force, and when she comes up, we're going to see this lady, she's going to come in and she'll be holding her arm against her body, and sometimes she'll be supporting with her other arm because this shoulder is out. So what we would do in that situation is we would identify if there's any associated fractures, and then we need to put that shoulder back in. So that's it. All right. Thank you so much. This is Dr. Darin. This has been Freaky Fast Fails Trauma Triage. If you have any suggestions, any fails that you have that you want to submit to me, I'll include them in my review. Guys, stay safe out there. Do everything you can to not become one of my patients. It's been a pleasure. Time to go. Knuckles, knocking, butterfly kisses, squid fingers.